Hey guys, this is Purna. We are continuing ES6 training sessions, and today we are going to discuss about modules. So far we have covered variable, classes, inheritance, arrow function, destructuring, and today topic is module. What is module? A module in JavaScript is just a file containing related code. A module can contain variable and function or an object. Why basically module is needed? So just take a real world example. Imagine a car factory trying to reinvent the engine every time it's produce a car. So it's not possible, right? Because somewhere you need to use your expertise to reuse your efforts and whatever the things that you have been discovered, right? So you must have to use your past experience. So like that in our coding world, you have to reuse your existing modules or package, whatever, right? So this is what the purpose of module in ES6. Modules in ES6 work only in strict mode. This means variable or function declared in a module will not be accessible globally. In ES6, import and export statements are the useful approach that allow us to keep things separated and available when we need it. So you can export a variable, object, class, functions as module. Here is an example of modules. A log info, it expects a parameter called message, and we are printing that message in console. We are using the default export here. So whenever we are going to import it, we have to import the modules like this, import log info from the file path. And as this module is a function, so we have to call this module as function like loginfo, and we passed a string. Let's come to the VS Code and we'll explore a few more examples. So here is an object that I will be using this object to export a module, and this is a mylogger, and it has two functions, loginfo and logerror. In loginfo, it expects a message parameter, and we are printing that message in console by adding an initial info. Basically, we want to identify that it's an info message. So likewise, in logerror, it also expects a message. So here is the difference is we are here identifying as a error and printing the message in console. So how can I export this module? So my object is ready here and I have to export it. So what we have to do, right? Export defaults and my object name or whatever. If you have function or class, then you can specify that. So now I am ready with my module. So how can I import it? So let's come to the other file. So modules are basically kept in separate file. So import mylogger. So mylogger.loginfo. Let's give a message something called user. Successfully user created. Let me copy this and use the other method log error. So let's put something as unable to create user. Okay, now let me run this program. Okay, so it's saying error modules not found. Okay, so maybe I have to give here the file extension, then it may work, it seems. Here you can see, yeah, it started working. So what exactly I'm doing here, right? So I have exported a module here. It's an object basically, and it's a default export. And I'm importing that module here, and as that module is an object, so I'm accessing its internal method. So mylogger.loginfo and passing a message, and here it's a error. So the result you can see, right? User create successful, it's a info message, and error, it is saying unable to create the user. So this is what export default. Okay, there are other way we can also export the modules, like named export. So how can you do the name export basically? So in name export, we have to pass the name of the object or method or whatever the class here within the curly braces. So whenever we will import this, and inside the curly brace we have to pass the module name, so it should be like same as whatever the module name we are passing. But in case of default import, we can give any name, so it will be fine. So let me run this, whether anything change here. So you can see here, right? So the same result what we saw in the existing. Okay, so now let me export this module with another way, like named alias export. So how can I export as alias here? Like my particular object name is my logger, but I want to export this as logger. Okay, so as I am exporting here as logger, so I have to import here as also logger, and same way we have to replace that object name. Yeah, so again it's printed here, right? Info create user created successfully, or error unable to create user. So this is how we can export and import module. Also I can import this module as alias, right? So let's say ABC, I want to put something, this module as ABC, and I can replace this object name here and import it. So you can see, right, that abc.login for it's also working. Okay, so whenever we have multiple function or object, then how can you import it, right? So here is one more method called say hello, and it expects a parameter name, and I'm printing that. Let me put something like hello name. Okay, so how can we export it? We can export multiple functions or object as modules using named module. Okay, but the default export should be one maximum. If you will write one more default export here, then it will give a compilation error. So let me use this module here. Okay, so this is a function, so I'll be directly using that by passing something like Steve, and let me run this. Yeah, so we can see, right, hello Steve. So this particular function I exported as modules, I'm imported here and I'm using it. So this is how we can import module content, different functions. If it is object, that we can use it. Okay, so we learn here how to export a default module, or named export, or named alias export. We have imported like a normal import. We imported as the named argument, or we use as alias. We use multiple module import. This is all about the module, guys. I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my YouTube channel Techie Purna and follow me on Instagram Learn Full Stack. Thank you.